welcome back to Growing With Me, where real is our norm and growth is our goal. My name is Marangi Faith and I'm going to be your host for this channel. So let's get started. As you guys can tell by the title, today I'll be giving you guys a few tips on how to bag those distinctions in Matric, because my babies who were in grade 8 when I was in grade 12, they're in Matric this year. So I really just wanted to make this video to motivate you guys, to inspire you guys, let you know that it is possible. So your girl bagged 8 distinctions in Matric with an average of 89, and my highest mark was 96 for Afrikaans, first additional language, and IT. So it is 100% possible. The sky is the limit. So don't limit yourself before the year even starts. Aim for the moon, like aim high, aim for the stars. Don't cap yourself at an 80. If you want the 80, aim for the 90. If you want the 90, aim for the 100. You know, there are people out there who've done it before. There are people out there that get a clear 100 on their transcript. And just to show you that, listen, it is possible. Okay, you can get 100. You can get 90, you can get that 80, especially if you want to get into the degree of your choice. If you want to get into medicine, if you want to get into actuarial sciences, if you want to get into accounting sciences, if you want to get into psychology, if you want to get into law, whatever you want to get into, your marks will be of paramount importance to get you there, to the university of your choice and the degree of your choice. Okay, so here are a few tips from your elderly sister to you guys on how to secure those A's this year. Okay, now assuming that you are a serious student that wants the best for themselves, I'm assuming you go to classes. Okay, now the first thing that you want to do in those classes, guys, please ask questions. Don't fool yourself into thinking that if I don't understand something that the teacher said, I'll understand it once I study for the test. Because once you do that, you're setting yourself up for failure. Classes for learning, classes for understanding. What you want to do when you go write a test is to revise. You don't want to be trying to understand a concept from scratch when you have to go write the test. Like, don't do that. That's dangerous. Ask questions in class, because also in asking, you are gonna be helping your classmates that didn't think to ask the same questions, but they probably don't understand the same thing. You're never alone in your confusion. It is very much shared. I say this very truthfully. So ask questions in class, after class. If you go home and you're going through your notes and you're like, I know what photosynthesis is, you know, go to your teacher and be like, I didn't understand this when you said it on Wednesday. Can you please explain it to me today? Rather go sooner than later. If you wait till it's exam season to be like, what is an electric circuit? Guys, I don't even remember. Like, it feels like such a long time ago. What do they teach y'all in Matric? But like, if you wait till the exam to go ask, like, you're gonna be so overwhelmed. You're gonna have so many new things to actually understand and learn before you can study them, because there's a difference. Studying and learning is not the same thing. Learning is supposed to be done in class. Studying is what you do on your own. Okay, so ask questions, go wild. Don't be scared to look dumb. If you don't understand it, half of the class doesn't. Okay, so that's the first thing that I'm gonna advise you guys to do. Now the second thing is do your homework. You know when Lemmy Loco says homework?
Homework. What about homework? Bashimane number 1. But did you do your homework?
Do your homework. No, guys, this is actually so important, because homework is practice. The more of it you do, the more you're practicing, the more you're gonna understand. And I started to adopt this habit of doing my homework very early on in high school. In grade 9, I was there charging people to do their homeworks. And they would actually pay me. People hate homework that much. Like, they would pay me to do their homework, and I would gladly do so. It's more practice for me. And I'd probably done it before at the time, you know. So that when I got to Matric, I just had to continue it. And I would tell my friends all the time, guys, if you just do your homework, you'll be fine. Like, you'll actually get like a decent 70 if you just do your homework and don't study. But if you do your homework and you study, that's when you'll be ranging at the 90s. And when I say do your homework, I mean intentionally do your homework. Don't just be like, oh, okay, I'm just going to do this so that when the teacher wants to check it, it's done. No, do it to understand it. Make that your form of pre-studying, you know, like make the most of that time. So do your homework. That is your practice. You will need it. You don't now want to get to the exam and now you're going through the worksheets for the first time. You're not serious. you're not serious. So please do those practice exercises, do those worksheets. Our teachers would give us certain numbers to do in the worksheet, and then I would just do the entire thing, because it was more practice for me. And also, I kind of enjoyed school in high school. It's weird, I know, but just do as much as you can. Get as much material as you can. If you can get a study guide, I know the answer series has really great study guides. It's the one I used. Do the physics extra exercises there. Those often come up in tests. I promise you they do. Okay, so yeah, that is my second tip for you guys. Okay, now the third thing that you guys want to do, this is the third tip that I have for you guys, is to stick to a schedule. Okay, now my matric year for me was extremely hectic. I was head girl, I had sports, and I still had to do academics. I had an eighth subject, which means I had extra classes after school for it, so I didn't have time to procrastinate. And this is why you need a schedule, especially if you're a person who has free time, because you're gonna think, oh, I have so much time, I can just do it later. And then later never actually comes. So make sure you have a schedule and stick to it. Obviously, like, being a morning person and a night owl doesn't really work in high school. It does in university, because there you really are working on your own time. But in school, it's kind of set out for you. Like, you have school from 7 to 2, and then you might have extra classes from 2 to 3 type of thing. But after 3 till you go to sleep, make sure that you have a set schedule for the time in between. Like I said, for me, it was very much set in stone. I had to go to advanced math class, and then I had to go to sport practice. Luckily for us, the COVID babies, sport didn't last the whole year. So it didn't take up a lot of my time in matric. But if you do have that, then you have to be there at a certain time. And then you get home at 5, say, perhaps. And then you want to make sure you make the most of the time that you have from 5 p.m. until you go to sleep. Or if you get home at 3, because you don't have all that many extracurricular activities. You want to make sure you optimize the time that you have from 3 o'clock to whatever time you go to bed. Okay, don't just be idle and wasted. Make sure it's intentional. If you are an intentional nap person, nap from 3 to 4. Wake up, do the work, okay? Like, ain't nobody gonna do the work for you in matric. It's really up to you. You have to put in the hard work. Depends on how much you want it. There's literally no one that's gonna come say you. Make sure you have a schedule and stick to it, because if you don't schedule your time, you're literally just gonna waste it. So you really have to be intentional with your time, with your after school routine, okay? So that's the third tip I have for you guys. And then the fourth tip, which I think made the biggest difference for me, is to join a study group. There are certain days where you just genuinely don't want to go through the math exercises. Like, you don't want to. There's no reason for it. You just don't have it in you. But if you have a dedicated study group that meets every Tuesday and Thursday, perhaps, and you guys know you have to do these exercises because you're going to go through them together, it keeps you accountable. And accountability will save your life one day, guys. I'm telling you this now. It keeps you accountable, and you're going to have to do the work. Even if it's not for yourself, it's so that you don't look like you're unserious when you meet up with your group. So our group was very much facilitated. So we had like a tutor, and then there was 4 or 5 of us. And so, him being like the older person would be like, if we were playing around, he'd be like, hey, stop it. And then if you're in the group and you don't understand a certain concept, then you can ask someone in your group, like, yo, dude, do you know what's going on here? And they can help you out. Also, similarly, if someone in your group doesn't understand something, you can also help them out. And I always say, you don't fully understand something until you can teach it to someone else. Okay, so if you can't explain that concept, then you also don't understand it. And you guys really have to go back to the drawing board. So you want to get around people that are just as serious as you. Don't do it alone, guys. It's a long year. Matric is a long year. It's a long, short year. It's long because, like, it's a year. But it's short because, like, time flies. And then you have prelims. And then you have finals. It's a long year. And in the year, like, your strength wanes, guys. Like, it fluctuates. There are certain days where you're going to be very strong and very motivated and very inspired. And there's going to be certain days where you're really not. And you need a group of serious people that be like, yo, dude, we need to get into vets. We need to go to UCT. You need to get into medicine. You need that, like, you need those people to hold you up on days where you're really just feeling like your strength is failing you and you can't see, like, the bigger picture. You know, so you want to do that. Don't isolate. No man is an island. There's an old proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with people. So in Matric, go with people, please. Then just like the last few tips that I have for you guys is to do past papers. Now, these are very beneficial to go through with your study group. In my year, we would have like study marathons where we would meet at 8 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday until 8 p.m. in the evening, just doing past papers, maths past papers, physics past papers, going through the different sections, making sure that we were set. So when we wrote our prelims, like we were pretty much like almost ready for finals because we had been practicing so many past papers. Okay. And this is why also, again, I say it's very important to get an understanding of the work in class and study the work throughout the year, that when the exams come, you are literally just doing the past papers. You're literally just revising the work, answering questions, seeing the memos and how the examiners want the questions answered. So those are the things that you want to be focusing on when your exams come, when your prelims come. Examiners are not usually very creative, so they will recycle certain questions. They will ask you what is the definition of power in physics. They will ask you Newton's laws. Like, it's gonna stay a lot the same like they did in the past exam papers. Okay. And then also remember that, guys, Matric is your last year. You literally want to lay it all on the table so that whatever the outcome is, when the marks come out next year, January, you know that you've put it all on the table. Like, you know, you gave it your all. There was nothing left. Whatever the outcome is, you will be able to live with it because you're like, listen, I did my best. And whether my best was enough, I don't know. I can't control that, right? You can only control your input. You can't control the output. So give it your all, put it all out there, that when the year ends, you're exhausted, but you're satisfied. You're content. But imagine the year ends and you know you didn't give it your all. That guilty conscience will eat you up. And imagine not getting into any universities. God forbid. I don't want that for you guys. But imagine not getting into any universities, but you know you could have given it more effort. And you walk out of that last exam and you're like, listen, I didn't give it my all. And I'm actually scared of the outcome. It's one thing to be scared of the outcome knowing you gave it your all, but it's another thing to be scared of the outcome not knowing that you didn't give it your all. Because the one can sleep at night. You won't be able to. Okay, so just leave it all out there. But also remember, like I said, it's your last year in high school. Have fun, okay? Have a balance. Make time for fun. Make time for rest. Make time for friends. Make time for prom. Don't be like, I'm not going to go to prom because I want to study for prelims. Please be serious. Like, you've been studying all year, okay? Like, just make the most of every experience. The last inter-house, the last inter-high, the last Matric 40 days. Like, you know, just make the most of each experience. Enjoy it to the fullest, but know when to be serious, know when to have fun. Like they said, work hard, play hard. We work hard, play hard. Da 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 da. All right, guys. So those are all the tips I have for you. All the best with the year ahead. For all my babies that are watching, love you guys. Gang, gang, you got this, okay? And thanks so much for watching. I will be signing up and out.